guest. I don't know if you can see him. Hey beautiful babes, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one that I've been like obsessed with for so long now. I saw a video Kendall Ray did on it probably like a year ago now, and it's about the man from Taured. Now I do want to disclaim that this is all alleged. There's no like physical proof that this actually happened, although a lot of people think that this is a true story, and it's just, we don't know if it is. Like, there's no like reliable news source that talked about this. This is all just kind of from word of mouth, and yeah, so it's alleged. It would be very cool if it did happen, but I don't know if I don't think it actually really happened, but it is a cool story. So let's just get right on into it. Okay, so our story takes place in 1954 at a Tokyo airport. A man who looked very normal with Caucasian features and a beard was walking through the airport, and they say that if you just like looked at him, you would think he was probably like a businessman. He was wearing a nice suit and he was walking quickly through the airport. Now, if you've never flown out of country before, when you arrive at the country that you're flying to, that's not your country, you have to go through customs. And when you go through customs, you have to give them your passport, obviously, and they ask you a couple of questions. So when this man got to customs, they asked for his passport, and it looked very normal. It looked like a normal passport that like any of us could have. The only difference about it was the name of the country. What are you doing? Oh, there you go. The only difference about it was the name of the country. It was a country that they had never heard of before, and so they obviously like couldn't let him into their country when they don't know where this man is from. And the name of the country on this man's passport was Taured. Now this man was also able to provide a driver's license and a check that were also both issued out of Taured. And it is noteworthy that the passport even had stamps on it from other countries that were real countries. So this passport looked 100% authentic, and they wouldn't have had a problem with it if it did not have the name Taured on it. You wanna come up? Come on, come here. There's my Bubby. Come here. Do you wanna say hi? Say hi. No. So this man quickly got frustrated and annoyed, which, I mean, understandably so. I mean, imagine you're going through the airport that he said he's been at before. He said he's flown to Tokyo before, and them telling you that the country you come from is not a real country. Like, that would just be so confusing and so frustrating and so scary. So rightfully so, this man was just like annoyed and frightened. He also went as far as to say that his country has been there for thousands of years. Now, when this man was asked where his passport was issued, he said, "The National Embassy of Raban, the supposed capital city of Taured." So obviously at this point now the security is also getting frustrated because they're like, there's no such place as Taured. So after this, the custom officials decided to bring in a map and have this man point to where Taured is. And he pointed to an area between France and Spain. However, where he pointed was not Taured, but instead was the Principality of Andorra. And this man had said that he had never heard of Andorra and that that's where Taured was. So after this happened, airport security made the decision to put him up in a hotel room for the night where he could be monitored by their own while they looked into whatever was going on. Because obviously they could not just let some random man saying he's coming from a non-existent country just roam around in their country. Like, couldn't let him into the country. Like, that's just not safe. It's a breach of security. They don't know where this man is from. They don't know what he's talking about. They don't know if he's dangerous. Although it's said that they determined that he was not dangerous, but you know, when someone's saying and is adamant that they're coming from a different country, something's obviously not right. Like a different country that doesn't exist. Something's obviously not right. The man agreed, although he didn't really have a choice, and airport security made sure that there was an officer on standby all night. Now that is where this whole story gets just bizarre. So there was an officer outside his hotel room door all night, and the next morning when they had gone in to get him, he was not there. He had just disappeared, like out in the thin air. It was just gone, which was impossible for him to get out of his hotel room without one of the officers seeing him. And he was just gone. And that is not the only thing that was gone. So his official documents that airport security kept, and they kept in their like security office, had vanished, meaning his passport that said Taured, his driver's license that said Taured, and his bank check that said Taured had all disappeared from the airport security office. So someone would have had to break in and get it and leave, and yet nobody was in there all night. Like nobody that was not supposed to be in there was in there all night, and they were just vanished, as was the man. And that's what brings us into the theories of this bizarre case. Now, like I said earlier, this is all just alleged, so these theories are just a little bit more for fun. So the first theory is that this man had a mental illness, and that's why he thought he was from a place called Taured. But that wouldn't really make sense in my opinion, because how would he have gotten the official documents? And how would he have just disappeared without anybody seeing him? And how would he have been able to get the official documents from the security office without being seen? So that just doesn't really make sense to me. The second theory is that he is from a parallel universe, and that he accidentally was sent onto our universe, and then was just like him and his stuff was zipped back into his universe, where the principality of Andorra is not there, but instead Taured is there. And that's why he was frustrated, and it was all because he was just in a different dimension, and he's from a different universe than we are. Which, I believe in the multiverse theory, so if this was true, that's kind of the one that I would believe the most out of these theories. But I just don't know if I think this happened. I think it would be pretty cool if it did happen, but I'm just not sure if it really did. And the last theory is that this man was a time traveler and accidentally traveled back in time from the future, but I don't think that one would make much sense either, because he was reported to have seemed in distress and confused as to why all this was happening. So if that did happen, then he would have accidentally time traveled, but how would you have not realized that you were in like a completely different time than where you're from? Like, obviously the technology and the clothes would have been different, so I don't think that one really holds much weight either, which is why I think that the multiverse theory in this situation would have been the most believable to those with an open mind. Now, this is not the first time that there has been reports of someone saying they're from a country they're not from, although it is very rare. The first case of it was in the 1800s, and the second case of it was in 1905, I believe, where people were saying that they were from a completely different country that didn't exist, and then they just vanished. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that this situation, it was exactly true, just because we don't have any proof that this actually happened. But if it did happen, that'd be pretty freaking insane, and I'd be pretty freaking interested in talking to the customs officers that were there and just like getting their take on the whole experience. But let me know what you guys think about this whole story. Like, do you think it actually happened, or do you think it's fake? Like, do you think it's a hoax, or just like some story that somebody made up and it just went around like crazy? And if you do believe it, what do you think it was? Do you think he had a mental illness? Do you think it was time travel, multiverse, another theory that maybe you came up with? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. I post a few times a week. I know in my first video I said I'll be posting Mondays and Fridays, but I'm not really sure because I'm just kind of wanting to post all these videos for you guys. So it'll probably just be a few times a week that I'll be posting. So yeah, just keep a lookout for those. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll have that linked down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!